It's a warm welcome to you on this Monday, the 11th of March 2024, and we're joined via StreamYard to Mr. Michael Swain from Freedom of Religion South Africa. Michael, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Breakfast with Friends. Great to be back on the show.
It is fantastic to have you back on the show. There are a number of things that we need to get through in the next 3.5 minutes. We don't have a lot of time, so let's dive right in and talk about this, because one of those things that we need to talk about, of course, is the whole thing of the spy bill. Can you give us an update with regard to the spy bill?
Yeah, the spy bill was introduced, which, again, as with all these things, there's a good intention. In other words, let's make sure that spies can catch out bad actors, internal and external. But the way that the definitions were phrased was that the reach of this spy bill was so great that just about any South African, for just about any reason, could be caught in this trap. And essentially, that means that gone is your right to privacy. All your emails, phone calls, WhatsApps, you name it, will all be able to be looked into. And you may or may not then be given a security clearance certificate. And if you're not, it means that you could potentially be shut down. Now, obviously, we're very concerned that that is something which would adversely affect religious leaders, religious organizations who might disagree with government policy. That was one of the grounds. But we're happy to say this has gone into a committee phase. They are looking now at making amendments to the revisions. We, for SA, made submissions, as did many others, saying that we have to narrow this net. Otherwise, we end up with a state surveillance system. So that's where we are with that one.
Wow, so it's quite a lot. I see you actually very, very busy the next couple of weeks. But Mr. Michael Swain, when it comes to the marriage bill, if we can just move into that one now. And can you give us the background on why there is a new marriage bill?
Well, South Africa has got 3 separate laws which govern marriage, and these are now being rolled into one single statute. And we are basically happy with the general policy that upon which this bill is based, which essentially sets out the difference between the secular requirements of a marriage, because a marriage is a contract, obviously, between 2 people in a very deep sense. Children come about, property comes about, people get divorced, people die, and the government has to know the certainty that this actually has happened. And then, of course, the sacred side of a marriage, which is obviously the religious side of it. And the essence is that this is being split into 2 parts, so to speak. But the problem was that in the original draft, it did not give any protection to religious marriage officers from being forced to solemnize all types of marriage, which, of course, is a very serious religious freedom consideration. But we're happy to say the good news is that after much lobbying and much interventions, this has now been put into the latest draft. So that's the good news for the faith community. Religious marriage officers are protected. However, state-employed marriage officers are not. But that is something we want to contend, because obviously, just because you work for the state doesn't mean to say you should lose your religious freedom right.
That is so on point. Thank you so much. For those who've perhaps just tuned in, we're chatting to Michael Swain. He is from Freedom of Religion South Africa. He is the executive director. Now, the 3rd largest elections are currently taking place across our beautiful country. It's about the school governing bodies, or SGBs. How must parents become involved with the school governing body elections, Michael?
Well, in a nutshell, and again, as I say, they're taking place right now, the answer is get involved. Because in all honesty, if you have a child in a public school and you're not on the school governing body, you are leaving your children in the hands of somebody else. So you have literally the month of March. And if you're not involved, or if you haven't looked into this, go to your school today, check that you're on the voters roll. And it may be too late to stand as a candidate, but at the very least, vote for somebody who will uphold your values for your children. School governing bodies have a lot of authority. You know, they guide the school's culture and the climate. They decide on its mission. They can decide to allow religious observances to take place, like pastors coming in to speak at assemblies. Very importantly, by the way, they approve the materials and the policies for teaching. So, for example, CSE was a big issue, comprehensive sexuality education. If you're on the school governing body, you can pick the content that is used to teach this subject. You don't have to take this ideological based material that you might otherwise be given. And of course, you can appoint teachers. Make sure that the right teachers are teaching your children. And also determine how school facilities can be used. Many schools, as you know, are used on Sundays, particularly to host church services and the like. The school governing bodies decide that too. So very good reasons to get involved. And it's a 3-year appointment, by the way. So you can literally control the culture and the climate and the context of the education your child will have for the next 3 years, or not, or leave it into the hands of others. So get involved.
I like that. Get involved. Don't leave it into the hands of others. And you've given us quite a lot to actually just think about this morning, Michael, and we really appreciate that. If people need more contact details or more information, where can they go?
Well, we have a website, forsa.org.za, Freedom of Religion South Africa, or you have a Facebook page, Freedom of Religion SA, and we also have a YouTube channel. We make weekly updates, and you can look at those. You can sign up for our newsletter. There's a lot of ways you can stay in touch, but our website, forsa.org.za, is probably the best place to go. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael Swain. FOR.org.za. Go check it out for yourself. Michael, thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you. God bless you too.